Air, land, and sea. It's time for a little flash travel. I'm Mitch English. With the school year over, many families are actually hitting the road for vacation. Some parents, however, go against the grain. They actually travel during the school year. So what impact does that really have on their kids? We got to have an expert, and here to talk to us today is Jamie Davis Smith. She's a contributor for Business Insider. And Jamie, I think of first off, something as a dad I've learned is buy memories, not things. And so I say that because I look back at all the places my dad used to take us, and it was generally during the summertime is when we did those things. But it was those trips like on the weekend that I've always remembered. You've taken your kids to places like Germany, Iceland, and India. Do they actually think you are probably the coolest mom ever, or were they in for just the in-flight snacks? And how important was it as a parent to let them see the world?
They do enjoy their in-flight snacks. So every time we go on a long flight, I take them to the supermarket and let them pick out some snacks, both for the flight and also to share with local kids we meet. American snacks are very popular abroad, and so they do love the snacks, but I try to use that as a way to help them make connections wherever we are. And then we try the local candy. But I do think they think I'm pretty cool. My son recently told me that at school he's known as the king of vacations, and he loves telling his classmates about where he's been and teaching them about the world through his eyes. So they love it.
I would imagine so because, after the summer is over, when we were in elementary school and say, tell everybody, come up in front of the class and tell everybody what you did your summer. And a lot of times like, oh, no, we did this, that. But traveling during the school year is a little different because it's still fresh on their mind. However, I would imagine some teachers, they're not all that thrilled about, say, maybe in your travel schedule. Have you ever had to go to the principal's office and say, hey, look, it's a school year. You can't be traveling with your kids during this time? Tell us about that.
Luckily, I've never been called to the principal's office, and neither have my kids. I've learned to just be very matter of fact with the school. I tell them where we're going and when, and I just leave it at that. I have received an email from the school social worker once, just letting me know the importance of education. And I acknowledge the importance of education and just briefly shared how much my kids learn when we're on vacation. And that was the end of it.
Okay, well, that's a good point. How much they learn while they're on vacation. Do you think it's something that maybe more parents should actually be encouraged to do? Is take those travel trips during the year, maybe even a extended weekend, or just keep it status quo and travel during the summertime?
I think all parents should at least consider taking their kids out of school to travel. Like you said, it doesn't need to be for a week or 2 weeks at a time, but even taking advantage of those long weekends and adding a day on to either end could make a really big impact. I will say I don't think it works for all kids or all
Yeah.
schools, so I think all parents should take a close look at that. I'm very fortunate that my kids don't seem to have too hard of a time catching up, particularly as I say in my story about taking kids out of school. I try not to take them out for too many days at
Yeah.
any given time, but a few days here and there throughout the school year, and that works for them. But I think the value is tremendous, and especially being able to travel longer distances during the school year and when there aren't as many crowds. I think travel anytime is great, but if you pick the right time, I think that you can have a lot more flexibility with where
Right.
you go, and
Let me ask you this.
it can be more.
Are there parameters that you have to set up as far as advice goes to your to other parents, like the homework, making sure that they, hey, look, we're going to go out of town. Are there parameters that you think that every parent should consider if they're going to take them out during the school year?
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell my kids that school is the most important thing and that we're very lucky to be able to travel as much as we do, but that school always comes first. And
Okay.
that means they need to keep up with their homework. And on a recent trip to Jordan, my daughter actually wound up staying behind at the hotel while my husband and son and I went out to do some more exploring because she had to finish a project. Sometimes that means doing work on the plane. My son recently had planned to do a presentation
Uh-huh.
also when we got home from Jordan about Petra. And so we kept that top of mind throughout our trip and made sure he was taking notes so that he really was focused on learning and what he
Yeah.
could bring back to his school.
And that's, I would imagine that's how kids learn, is actually seeing, touching, and feeling. So if you go out and say, hey, look, yeah, we're going during the school year, but we're going to learn something, have like somewhat of a homework assignment, even though you're, across the world. Love these ideas. And your article obviously is going to bring even more out for those that are interested. And if you'd like to find out more information on this, all you have to do is check out our website, dailyflashshow.com. There you'll find this interview and so much more as well.